Alabama Department of Revenue, Business Essentials for State Taxpayers, Withholding Tax Learning Module.
The following video is intended to be an overview of the subject matter included and is not a comprehensive explanation of all aspects of the subject matter. The information contained in this video does not represent legal advice and is not legally binding on the department. Information regarding taxes and tax administration changes frequently and should always be confirmed through a tax professional. Please refer to the Alabama Department of Revenue website at revenue.alabama.gov for additional information.
In this lesson, we will define withholding tax, determine who is required to withhold, review the proper withholding forms, and compare the requirements for an employee and independent contractor. What is withholding tax? The amount of an employee's pay withheld by the employer and sent directly to the government as partial payment of income tax. Do I need a withholding tax account number? If you are an employer with employees working in the state of Alabama, you will need to register with the Department of Revenue for a withholding tax account number. Who is required to withhold? Employers with employees working in the state of Alabama. Alabama employers with Alabama residents working outside the state of Alabama will need to withhold Alabama income tax on those residents unless they are withholding tax for the state in which the employee is working. Employers who are residents of Alabama are required to withhold taxes from wages of their employees who are not residents of Alabama only to the extent the wages are earned in Alabama. Non-resident employers are required to withhold Alabama income tax on wages earned in Alabama. Registering for a new withholding tax number. You can register for a withholding tax number by registering through the online business registration system on My Alabama Taxes. Each employee must complete Form A4, used to properly compute the withholding tax. Employer must withhold using zero exemptions when A4 is not filed. Employers must retain exemption certificates for at least 3 years. If an employee claims 8 or more exemptions, you must send a copy of the A4 to the ADOR's withholding tax section. Non-resident military spouse withholding tax exemption. Under this act, the income for services performed by the spouse of a service member shall not be deemed to be income for services performed or from sources within a tax jurisdiction of the United States if the spouse is not a resident of the jurisdiction in which the income is earned, because the spouse is in the jurisdiction solely to be with the service member serving in compliance with military orders. Spousal income is not subject to Alabama withholding if the spouse is in the jurisdiction solely to be with the service member servicing in compliance with military orders. Will need to file with the A4-MS form. To qualify for the tax exemption, the answer to all 7 conditions on the form must be true. Here are withholding tax forms such as A6, A1, and A3. Employer-employee relationship. If an employee-employer relationship exists for federal purposes, then this relationship also exists for Alabama purposes. See Federal Form SS-8, Determination of Worker Status for purposes of federal employment taxes and income tax withholding. An employee cannot claim to be an independent contractor for Alabama purposes and therefore exempt from Alabama withholding tax unless he has met the federal guidelines for being an independent contractor. Refer to IRS Publication 15-A, Employer's Supplemental Tax Guide. Please refer to the Employee versus Independent Contractor chart below. Form 1099. 1099s in the amount of $600 or more without Alabama withholding tax should be reported with Form 1096. Alabama Form 96 is no longer available. 1099s and W-2s with Alabama withholding tax should be combined. Merger instructions are available on the Revenue website to be filed on MAT. 1099s with Alabama withholding tax must be reported in MAT in the Other Income field, not as wages. Forms 1096 and 1099 without Alabama withholding tax should be mailed to ADOR, P.O. Box 327489, Montgomery, Alabama 36132-7489.